How's everybody doing? Okay. Today we're going to talk about Taurus and Capricorn. Now, I'm doing double taping at the same time. I'm doing the intermediary break of my incompatibility of signs. So that's still being going on at the same time that I'm doing the incompatibility series. So today we are going to talk about cardinal Earth and fixed Earth. Cardinal Earth and fixed Earth. We're dealing with Earth and Earth as a modality, as an elemental. So this combination works as an elemental, and it also works as a modality with a square and a mutable, and of course, Earth and Earth. So this will fall under the category of compatibility of signs. I'm back with my cranberry martini. Always delicious. Okay, let's start with nature. How do we ascribe this combination to nature? How do we, where in nature do we find this combination? Well, I will tell you. You find this combination, a perfect analogy will be a volcano. A volcano would be the actual analogy. Yeah. You have the fixity of the volcano, which of course is a mountain. A mountain belongs to Capricorn. And a volcano, like Mount Everest or Mount St. Helens, are mountains. They're mountains. And some of these mountains are volcanic. So here we have Capricorn and Taurus all rolled up in one. And of course, understand that this combination alone, going to specifics with this combination, ascribing it, still dealing with the analogy of nature, is actually quite beautiful. Have you ever been in the mountains of Cartagena in Colombia? Or have you ever been in Guadalajara, Mexico, which sits, the entire city of Guadalajara sits on a mountain. Just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. What about Tibet? The sanctuary is in the mountains of Tibet. And the beauty that surrounds these sanctified places. There's some trees and some species of flowers that grow around volcanoes and around mountains that you don't see down below on sea level or on the surface floor of the earth. Volcanic ash and volcanic minerals can spawn all kinds of different species of plants and insects and animals and phyla. Just like when you go to the coral reefs of Australia. Have you seen the coral reefs in Australia? And how, they used to be, not anymore because of pollution and global warming and what we have done to the ecosystem in some of these exotic places is unspeakable. What we as men, being here a short period of time, have caused such damage to our earth, to the beauty of our planet, that it's sad. It's sad. But understand that volcanoes are dangerous. And volcanoes have been here for a long period of time, Well, we can go back to the Pleistocene period. We can go back to the Jurassic period or the Triassic period or the Hyperborean epoch or even the Polarian epoch. Hey, don't let me tell you. Talking anthropologically now, saying. So we can go further back in the Earth's anthropological history and understand that these volcanoes, which exist both above ground and underneath the ocean floor. It's a force of nature to behold. And that we can attribute to Taurus. When a Taurus gets angry, it's like a volcanic eruption. It is. It is. Like a volcanic eruption. And then, hell knows no fury like a woman scorn. So if we ascribe that with the feminine, the pyroclastic flow, the lava falling and about to destroy the village below, is the fiery fury of the rage and anger of Taurus. And then that pyroclastic flow is going to go on and kill people. That's the cardinality of Capricorn. Active. So now this active volcano is now going to kill us and destroy land, beauty, vegetation. That's the cardinality of Earth. The destructive nature of volcanoes and the ability for them to end life, but then they clear the slate for new life to spring forward. The same thing we can say about a forest fire. A forest is Taurus, but it's also cardinal, so it could be Capricorn, because the trees are spawning, they're mating, they're producing. There's activity going on in these trees. So then the fire ravages a forest and kills all life in that forest, including disrupting the topography and the ecosystem of that forest. Now you're dealing with the rage and fury of Taurus, but also of Capricorn, the devil. Because now this is active energy, cardinal, which is now destroying life, destroying land, but giving also paving the way for the new. So understand that Taurus and Capricorn work in tandem. Now, let us consider a more positive aspect of nature concerning this sign. We're dealing with Taurus, can be perceived as the earth. It is fixed earth. It sits there in space under the scaffolding of dark matter, right? Which is the scaffolding that's keeping, the fabric of space-time. That skeletal framework is dark matter, which is keeping all of the planets and everything in its positions. That's the fixity nature of our universe, and the fact that our Earth is not falling from space, free falling in space. It's stuck there and that scaffolding of dark matter. But then the Earth rotates. Because if it's one thing that it sits there, but it just doesn't sit there. It rotates on its own axis and then around, elliptically around the sun. That's an active Earth. That's an active planet. The movement alone confers its cardinality, let alone the life form and the life force, dark energy versus dark matter, which is enveloping our planet and our particular solar system, which gives it life and direction. So now we see here again Taurus and Capricorn, working in tandem. They almost become inseparable. And I had mentioned that the Virgo and Scorpio is a most known combination here in the United States, and they've done statistics on this. And the second one, actually, that is also the most known would be Taurus and Capricorn. This is another combination that is extremely popular and very common. When you have fixed and mutable, you have to understand that Capricorn although Capricorn is a cardinal sign, that in itself, in a way, is kind of like a misnomer. Because, and my father was a Capricorn. And I know Capricorns, they're very stubborn people. They're very stubborn in not swaying or not allowing themselves to be swayed by any other philosophy other than the one that they've established for themselves. Again, like if you listen to my Capricorn man, right, videos, the Capricorn, both the man and the woman, creates a fortress. A fortress. The woman does it for different reasons than the man does it. The man, if we're going to talk about man and a woman, right? The man already is creating a fortress to protect himself from you. Although he'll give you the opposite energy and make you believe that it's because there's something wrong with you. There ain't nothing wrong with you. He is the one that's fearful and afraid. But he can't show you that because then he loses leverage. He's Capricorn, the devil, Papa, right? So he can't lose leverage. So he has to appear meaner, more indifferent, and sort of resolved than the rest of us. You know, the Capricorn man particularly has an air of austerity and authority which should not be questioned. And this can be a problem. This can be a problem. Because the Capricorn man is stubborn. And this is something that many astrologers don't talk about. Many astrologers won't ascribe stubbornness to Capricorn, only to Taurus, classically, of course. But let me tell you, experience, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Experience is the best teacher. And at 50 years old, and me having done this for a long time, and also been a professional clinician, let me tell you, there is nothing flexible about these men. They are the most inflexible, uncompromising, unyielding people you've ever want to meet. And this is the key to why they're so successful and so disciplined and so self-preserving. All of that is wonderful when we're dealing with the outside world where we need to conquer it in order to succeed. Because from the sweat of our brow shall we eat all the days of our lives. That's what it says in the Bible, in Genesis. So we got that. And Capricorn, more than anybody, than any other sign in the zodiac, is down with the program. He down with the program. The more tougher it is, the more he loves it. He don't like nothing cheap or nothing easy. Otherwise, he doesn't feel that it's worth it. Okay? So, the demanding nature of Capricorn towards others, with the whip, whoosh, Jehovah, whoosh, whoosh, is something that is inherent in the soul structure of the personality of the Capricorn man and the woman. The woman, she does possess more heart. And when I mean heart, I'm talking about a sense of compassion. The Capricorn woman is far more compassionate and far more forgiving than the Capricorn man will ever be. And the reason for that is because he doesn't forgive himself. And he doesn't take himself off the hook. He's going to drive himself until he can no more. And he's going to expect others to do the same. And this is the part that can be the devil in Capricorn. Because gentle, sweet, bubbly Taurus, if we're dealing with a woman with a Capricorn man, can be bamboozled or taken by surprise by the ugly or seemingly ugly stench of stubbornness that the Capricorn man can portray. But the reason why she might feel that way, though, is because she can be stubborn herself. And she pretty much can mirror the same characteristics, particularly the arrogant attitude of Mr. Capricorn, just as efficiently. She can be just as worse, just as arrogant and just as stubborn as Mr. Capricorn. And this can cause a clashing, like a bucking heads. This relationship this is one of those combinations, unfortunately. Let me show my little, this is one of those combinations where it does matter how old you are, your level of education, the way you were raised, your value systems. Again, and you've heard me talk about this before, the value systems, okay? The value systems of Taurus have to be understood and they have to be respected. And the Taurus woman is not going to be with a man who doesn't share in her value system. That doesn't, she's not going to go with the unfamiliar. And because of that, she might project onto him certain expectations that she believes he will uphold because his values are similar or they may mirror her values and where she comes from. But that's the thing. The Taurus can be rather inflexible this way, and just wanting to deal with parts of a person instead of the full person if they don't mirror the value system that they are familiar with. They may tend to question and fight and resist the education or the counsel from Capricorn. If there is a disparity of age between this combination, where the man is much older as a Capricorn than the woman, the Taurus, then the relationship will mirror one of those relationship types that I just started talking about. Codependency. This is a path to codependency. If the person is far younger and the other person is far older. I actually know a couple that where the young woman is a Taurus and she's 23 years old and her man, the Capricorn, is 41. And you have to understand the disparity of the age is going to cause a clash in the value systems of these two people. Someone who's 23 years old, a young woman who's really a young girl mentally because she's 23, so let's say she's 20. Man, you got to take away 7, 8 years. Women, 2, 3 years. She still lives with her mother. Therefore, she's not independent. She's too young to be. Understandable. We can't blame her for that. But then she's in a relationship with a much older man who is self-sufficient, self-sustaining, as he should be at 41. So obviously, we're going to see from the outside looking in this pair and see, okay, she needs him. Or she, but then again, listen, I don't care how old the man is, women are expensive. Even girlfriens, women that I'm not sleeping with, friends of mine, if we go out together, I'm going to have to, it's not that I have a problem with it. But, listen, when women come and visit me at 2, 3 in the morning or at 11 o'clock at night for a session and they leave at 2, 3 in the morning, do you think I'm going to let them walk out by themselves to catch a cab? I need to step out with them. Can't let them go out alone. A woman has to be maintained. A woman has to be cared for. You have to be a gentleman. And the Taurus woman, especially someone that young, dealing with an older man, what type of relationship dynamic do you think that's going to be? So a lot of it deals with a certain level of maturity, that might not be there. And then you got to ask yourself, what does the 41-year-old man need from a 23-year-old that he cannot get from a woman comparable to his age? No? So that right, I mean, of course, men date women far younger, my God. That's not uncommon for us. We get away with it because we can. But with women, women are catching up though. Women are catching up. If we flip it and we make it that it is a Taurus young man in his 20s and the woman is a Capricorn and she's much older, yeah, she'll probably end up seducing the young boy, but the Capricorn woman will be understanding that this young man is not at a station where he can provide what a man should be providing by the time he reaches his prime. The Capricorn woman can get away with fucking a young boy, being a cougar, because she is not going to expect anything from a young boy that she may conquer. She knows that's just a toy. When it comes to the real nigga shit, she's going to want a motherfucker that got his own, more than her, better, more status-oriented, money, successful, the whole nine. Until then, she's going to play with the young boys if she can, like most cougar would. And Capricorn and Taurus are the signs of the cougar. So if we flip it that way, and of course, what Taurus young man in his prime won't be willing? So with this combination, there can be a lot of lust, because both Capricorn and Taurus can be very sensuous and very sensory driven and stimulated, But then comes the hard part, the shadow, the lower natures that they can trigger on each other, and how they're going to handle those types of triggers, especially when someone is so much younger than the other. But let's say that they are of equal age, or even middle age. Let's say that they're a couple like my age, 50. Well, what do? At this point, there should be the relationship, aside from love being in the picture. And when it comes with Capricorn, you're never really quite sure if love really plays into the equation. Because, Mr. Capricorn measures love with a certain level of income and a certain level of survivability index that may require certain things being in place before he can offer love. So that right there is another misnomer with Capricorn. And I don't want to make Capricorn sound like, all they care about is money, fame, status, respect. Because God forbid they don't get their respect. What else is there? And that actually has not really changed with Capricorn. I used to read this stuff in the books in my 20s, and I still read them again in my 50s. And coupled with my own practical experiences, I will say that it is true. Not much about the sign has changed, particularly when we're dealing with the men and alpha men and overachievers. There is a certain psychology that's going to come with such a person. And Capricorn embodies that principle. So for a Capricorn man or woman, the relationship is actually far more stable if it's a Capricorn woman and a Taurus man. If it's a Capricorn man and a Taurus woman, that, may require quite a compromise, because it is this sex disparity, the Capricorn man and the Taurus woman. It is this particular combination as far as the sexes that will end to the most trouble and the most tumultuous of experiences, because both of them can be quite stubborn that way. And this concludes part 1.